Originally released as part of the Orange Box triumvirate, couched between two franchises that carried a significant amount of clout, Half-Life and Team Fortress, Portal was, if you'll pardon me being a little on the nose here, a bit of an experiment for Valve. Now, once the cake had been served and the party was over, the only consistent critique of Portal was that it was over too soon. This grand experiment took maybe 3 or 4 hours to play through, and a significant portion of that experience was dedicated to a measured tutorial on all the different ways you could bend space with the Aperture Science handheld Portal device. But fear not, faithful test subjects, as that training gets put to good use in Portal 2, a full standalone sequel that thrusts you back into the world of scientific absurdity, Orwellian doublespeak, and glibly murderous artificial intelligence, expanding on the scope and the scale of the puzzles while simultaneously diving deeper into the mythology of Aperture Science. This isn't simply a faster, harder, more challenging Portal, and players anticipating more white rooms and more cake jokes will be surprised by where Portal 2 takes them, and maybe even a little disappointed. Portal 2 almost never goes for the easy callbacks, and in a way, the grimier, cavernous environments and the more traditional narrative style feel like a deliberate and direct response to the monomaniacal obsession the first game's restrained specificity inspired.
Surprise.
There's still plenty of humor to be mined from Aperture Science's psychotic corporate culture and its long history of grossly unnecessary and poorly considered scientific experiments. And the Portal-based puzzling is as boggling as ever.
Good morning. You have been in suspension for 50 days.
Picking up an indeterminate amount of time after the cataclysmic events of Portal, Portal 2 thrusts you deeper into the bowels of the impossibly huge and irresponsibly built Aperture Science testing facilities. Now, I'm reluctant to speak too specifically about the story here, but I will say that GLaDOS took you murdering her really personally.
Oh, it's you.
And as you traverse more test chambers, as well as the often dark, dilapidated infrastructure of the facility, you'll be exposed to Aperture's testing protocols and motivations from decades past, providing a certain amount of context to the deliberately isolated and claustrophobic feel of the original. Despite being the only living human character inside the Aperture facility, that you know of anyway, Portal 2 doesn't feel nearly as isolated as the original, in part because of just how much bigger everything feels and how much more variety there is to the look and feel of the environments, but also because of the addition of J.K. Simmons as Aperture founder Cave Johnson and British humorist Stephen Merchant as the aimlessly urgent AI Wheatley, both of whom put in terrific performances that expand the spectrum of the game's personality.
Welcome, gentlemen, to Aperture Science. Astronauts, war heroes, Olympians, you're here because we want the best. And you are it. So, who is ready to make some science?
But size isn't the only differentiator, as Portal 2 introduces several new experimental cubes and compounds and energies for you to solve test chambers with. There's a number of different gels that can radically affect the way surfaces behave, as well as hard energy bridges, laser redirecting cubes, tractor beams, and more. Now, knowing how challenging Portal got when you were mostly just dealing with portals, cubes, and buttons, this might sound a little overwhelming, but Portal 2 eases you into each new idea very smartly, and despite being a game that's more than twice the length of the original, it manages to maintain that balance of being just hard enough that you feel pretty smart when you finally solve a puzzle the entire time.
Excellent. You're a predator, and these tests are your prey. Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test.
Of course, like the original, returns diminish significantly on repeat playthroughs, though there's still the enlightening developer commentary track to keep you company. And if you'd like to know what it's like to be really exceptionally furious at one of your friends, there's a separate co-op campaign that's arguably more mechanically impressive than the single player, requiring regular coordinated use of both players' portal guns and some truly smart cooperative play. Co-op introduces a ping tool that lets you flag surfaces that you want your partner to slap a portal on, and while it provides a focus of direction that you can't get with voice chat seems pretty clutch here as well.
That is not part of the test.
The singular success of Portal makes the expectations for Portal 2 almost impossible to deal with. But regardless of what you might want or expect, Portal 2 breaks out of the sterile, claustrophobic box of the first game and firmly establishes itself as part of a much bigger, much stupider universe. For science!
There is a framed painting on the wall. Please go stand in front of it. This is art. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art. You should now feel mentally reinvigorated.